Hi everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Stamping, the first Monday Night Stamping in February 2025. Yes, today is February the 3rd, and I'm happy to be here with you again tonight as we connect and craft and chat and just have fun together. And I have a fun fold for you, so I think you're going to like it. I'm quite enjoying it. I've made a few cards with it, so welcome. And I just want to thank you for watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay or you're watching YouTube. So as I go down to my desktop and you're chatting and saying hello, let's see. We're having a real taste of winter here. The last few days we had a lot of snow for us. And today I think it was minus 31 or something. So it's more than a little chilly. So tell us what it's like where you are. I've heard on Vancouver Island that maybe you had a bit of snow, even out in Vancouver way. So let us know what your weather is like and what you're up to. Like what kinds of things are you doing as we head into February? Are you getting excited about anything in particular? And just let us know. So let me just make sure that the computer is picking you up. I see people making comments, so that's a promising sign. That means that likely I am actually going live. Whoops, and we are in stereo. There we are. I had been watching a video and forgot to check that. So let's take a look-see down here. First off, what I want to mention is that I have a brand new class. You're the first people to hear about it. It's going out in the newsletter tomorrow. I've been promising this class, though. Some of you have been very excited about it. It's the Everyday Arches class to go. So this is a picture here of all of the arches. You will need the die set to do this class. And I'm just saying that you are going to want that die set. It just is so versatile. It nests beautifully, and you're going to make at least 6 projects with it. So go to bit.ly/everydayarches, or you can use the QR code here. I'll also, after this is over, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, I'll put this link so that you can just click on that as well and register. So there are a few options that you can use, so you can see what option works for you. But that is the class, my newest class. I also have no longer any kits available, but if you're wanting just the PDF and the video tutorial, I still have the Hearts of Excellence class to go to, so you can register there. So just a little heads up about that. Also, I'll leave them like this. There we go. And just tell you that tomorrow is the first Tuesday of the month. And what often happens on Tuesday, the first Tuesday of a month, is Stampin' Up! Releases, releases new kits. So there are new kits being released tomorrow. So you are going to want to check it out. You're going to go to my website and just check it out there. If you check on the online exclusives, that's where you will find it. And there's my website up there, right up there. There you go. So just a heads up about that. So that being said, let's get going with tonight's class. All right, I see some people here that are saying they haven't been here live on a Monday night for a while. So welcome everybody. It's so nice to have you here. So I have a really neat fun fold for you tonight. I used it a few times lately. So let's just bring this in. So this is a half sheet of thick basic white. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. And then it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. But I'm going to do the scoring with you here tonight. So it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Let's just move this down. There we go. At 4 1/4, like that. Then we're going to move it along to 7 and let me just double check my measurements. 7 1/4. I was remembering the right thing, but you just never know. So at 7 1/4 here, what we want to do is cut down a little ways and cut up a little ways and then do the scoring here. Now that sounds complicated, and I did this in a class recently and they looked a little bewildered, and once they did it, they went, oh, that was really easy. So let's just do it together. So, and it doesn't matter how far up or down, but you just want to leave a little, I don't know, 1 inch or 2 inches here in the middle. So let's cut. We're going to cut to the 2-inch mark. Then we're going to lift this up, and then we're going to come from this. And remember, our paper cutter is so neat because it has the little marks on the side, and that tells you exactly where the blade is. So I came up to 3.5. It could have been whatever, didn't matter. Now I'm going to, while it's still in there, take my scoring blade and score that middle section. So now I'll take this out of the way. Whoops, no, I'm going to leave it here for a minute. So now you can see I've got those 2 flaps there. We need to cut those flaps out. Now you can do that one of 2 ways. You can bring your scissors in and just go snip, snip, or if you're like me and you prefer to use your paper trimmer, just slide it in. And let's see, that's about there. So I'm going to just cut up to that line, and I could feel it. I can finish that off with my scissors, and the same on this side, like that. And we've got it like that. And I'll just finish it off. Just a little snip because I didn't go all the way. I was being cautious. So what we've got now is this little shape like this. So when we fold it in half, we've got, it's almost like a little arm sticking out. So that's, so let's burnish this fold first off. And this little kind of arm that's sticking out, that's what's going to do all the special work on this card. So we've got it that way. So now we're going to fold this back here. And because it's going to be going back and forth a bit, I like to fold it back and forth so that it's used to it. So now what it looks like is it looks like that. So we've got a regular fold, and then this little tab is going back. There is no magic formula for this tab. I'll explain a little bit more as we go along, but there is our card base. Then we're going to bring in some of the Terrific Toadstool designer paper. This is one of the designer papers you can earn for free with a $75 order. It is bright, it's colorful, it's fun, and we are going to use this piece right here. So there we go. We've got it like this. All those different colors. So I have been using this a lot, and I have been seeing lots of it. But we're going to use, like I said, this piece right here. And we will cut, so on the back, it has the little toadstools. So we've cut a piece that's going to fit on here. So this way, I've got the measurements somewhere, but I will just measure it here with you. It is 2 3/4 across, and it is 5 1/4 tall. So it is just got a nice little border all the way around. Now, I could have chosen to use this side too, but I decided I wanted to use this. This is one of my favorites of this designer paper. There we go, like that. So why don't we just put that on right now? Then we are not going to be worrying about that anymore. And I like to put it so that I can see at least 3 of the edges, because if those 3 corners there have sort of an equal border, then everything else does too, right? And there it goes like that. So we've got it like that. And we're going to save the extra pieces for later, and we're going to put this aside and work on our focal point and then come back to this. So for our focal point, I have cut out 2 arches. So you know me, I love these arches. There isn't much you can't do with them. Well, you can do a lot with them. Let's say that. So what I've used for the gray granite is this one. So if you're starting from the outside, it's the 3rd one in. And then for the basic white, that's the 4th one in. So they nest beautifully. So because they are what you call layering dies, they layer beautifully. So the gray granite is going to frame the basic white. And these come as a bundle. So you can get the dies on their own. They definitely can be a standalone die. And in my class, we are concentrating on the dies. You do not have to have the stamps, but I love the stamps too. So you just might want them. So, you know, to do things like that, it's just fun. All right, so let's put that aside for right now and get started. So we're going to bring in the toadstool stamp set. We've used that before. And where did I put it? Oh, here it is. So right here, it's the Terrific Toadstools. So this is in the mini catalog, and it comes as a bundle with the punch, and we're going to be using both tonight. And it's just a great one. And then to have the paper that you can get for free, I mean, win-win, right? So we're going to work on this. I'm going to bring a bit of scrap paper under and put it underneath. Initially, we're going to bring in the grass stamp. So it's this one here. And I should move this so I can use that. There we go. And we're also going to bring in some script. And the script is from another online exclusive. It's called Elements of Text, and I know some of you have fallen in love with this too. So you've got just this stuff that makes wonderful backgrounds, and we're going to do a little bit of that. So both that and the arches are found in the online exclusives. That doesn't mean you have to order online. It just means that that's where you're going to find it. So do always remember to take a look at the online exclusives and make sure that you've checked what's there. So let's just see. Some of these letters go, you can't read what's on here, but the letters you do want to have right way up, right? I'm just going to I think maybe I want to stamp off twice. I want them a little bit lighter than that. And let's see. We will do a little bit up here. That's good enough for that. And then there's some wonderful splotches. And I'm definitely going to stamp it off a bit. And just go like that. Some of you I know stress over random stamping. It really is just put it down. Don't think about it. And then maybe be wise enough to stop. That's where I fall down. I sometimes have a hard time stopping. I'm having such a good time. So we've done that. Now we're going to put a bit of grass on the bottom. So let's bring in our Granny Apple Green. How did I choose the colors? I just chose the colors from the designer paper. So I didn't have to think too hard. So again, I'm going to bring this in, and I think I will stamp this off a bit too, because Granny Apple Green, especially when your first stamp comes across as pretty dark, it lightens up as it dries. But no, I'm just sort of catching a bit this here, there, and everywhere. And I have a bit of a bald spot here. I can try to fill it in, or not to worry about it, because I know that I've got a bit more going on here. And there we go. And you can always cover up, right? And by the time I'm finished, no one's going to know what's been going on there anyway. So that's good enough. It's time to stop. Now we're going to build our little scene. So we're going to bring in the gray granite, melon mambo, and fresh freesia. Those are the colors we're going to work with. So I'm going to open them up. And a couple of the toadstools, or at least one, I want to cut out. So we'll go like that. We'll bring in some scrap paper here. And I want to stamp, where did it go? There it is. In Melon Mambo, I want to stamp this nice big one. Now remember, if you don't have a glass mat, you should have something soft underneath photopolymer stamps when you're stamping. Just they need a little bit of a cushion. Now I know that that's close to the edge, but I'm not worried because the punch is going to cut right into the color, which is a little different on this one here. And then we are going to stamp this in gray granite, like that. And we're going to use those again in a minute, but that's what we're going to use there. So now we're going to bring in this. So we just want to use this for this here, like that. There we go. Now, I want this stem for something else. So I would bring in just a skinny little piece of paper here. So this is gray granite. And then I would have this stem here. We're not going to use this today, but I wanted to show you if you cut your paper to fit the punch, you don't get tons of scraps. So this paper here, when you cut paper that is 5 by 3 3/4 or whatever, you get these long strips of paper and it works perfectly. Just a little bit of this and you don't get lots of rubbish. It just is very economical way to punch. And what you could do is then glue that onto there and you would have a toadstool, but I wanted to use this one. Just wanted to share that with you. So now what you're going to do is bring in your scissors and fussy cut this out. And I know that you all know how to cut, so I have already done that, so you didn't have to watch me. And let's just glue those together for a minute. Now I am going to actually put the top of the stem up here because it's like you're looking at the toadstool from underneath. Not that I could ever get down that low on the ground. I would definitely have to pick it up. But there you go. So we've got that there. We've got that built. And while we're letting that dry, we're going to do a little bit more stamping right on here. So we're going to bring in one of the stems, and I think we're just making a little toadstool scene. We'll put this here, and we'll bring in this little squatty stem here, and put it over here like that. And then we will bring in this one right here, and I think we will do this one in fresh freesia, just for a little variety, like that. And then we're going to bring in, again, this one actually also doubles as a ladybug's body, and I'll show you that afterwards. We're going to do these. And we'll do one in fresh freesia over here. Isn't that so cute? I love how that goes. And then because it's light, I can go into my dark color and do that over here. So now we have that happening. Just so much fun. So we can move this out of the way. And I think before I get this all put together, I'm actually going to layer these. So we'll do that. It's easier to glue it together once before I get it all bulky. Not impossible, but it's just easier. Secondly, I should close these up like that. There we go. So here, I'm curious, how many of you have got something from Celebration? How many of you have earned something, one of the free items? And if you have, what one have you earned? Or if you're hoping to get one, what one would be your first thing that you would get from Celebration? So just share that. What are some of the hits as far as you can see from the Celebration brochure? So I'm just putting some smaller dimensionals here. You could always cut yours in half if you wanted. Bring in my little scrap bin. I'm using so many of your favorite things tonight, Roz. Oh, good. It's just, there's so many wonderful things right now that it's really hard to decide what to do. So I'm just going to now, before I do that, I meant to show you something. One of the other Celebration items is this great fresh freesia ribbon. It is so soft. It ties beautifully. Today I needed some ribbon that was a different color, so I just colored this with my blends, and it worked beautifully for that too. But one of the things that I thought about doing was I could put a bow on here. And like I said, it ties beautifully, but I thought that's a bit overwhelming. So what I did is I cut the one edge of the fresh freesia off, and I'm just going to pull some threads out. So I've got some there, and my thinking is, we'll see if my thinking is working, that it would make just a nice little airy finish on the back. Instead of using a blending brush or something, it might make it too busy, but I just wanted to show you that it's definitely an option that you can do. And of course, I meant to do that before I put my dimensionals on, so we'll see how I go here. Now, I am going to have to guess where this is going to go. So somewhere in here. And then I'm going to pick these up. There's one got away. It's already stuck down, that's why. And I'm going to just our usual back and forth, but it's just much finer and airier looking. Come on back, you little ends. And now I'm just going to see if that still shows behind. It does. It needs to be spread out a little bit more, I think, in my books. And it just adds just a little bit. I think it also needs to come down lower. There we go. So you might not be able to see it, but it is an option. I'm going to just trim that little piece off. Got away on me, but it adds just a little bit of softness behind. So now let's bring in our card front, and how is this all going to go together? So this has to be smaller than your focal point. And it is. It's quite a bit smaller. So our focal point is going to go on here, and it's going to be attached to this. But before we do that, I would like to do the inside, and I'll explain why I am choosing to do that. So on the inside, we are going to, pardon me, use 2 more of the arches, and they're going to be the inside feature. Now we can do a few things here. We could put a strip of this behind it like that, or we could flip it over and put the mushrooms behind it, or we could have the mushrooms over here, and so they would show like that. They would be peeking out this way. So I'm going to this time put them over here. So do you think we should use the gray side or the mushroom side? And I'm going to cut it down to anchor the inside. So gray or mushroom. Okay, gray or mushroom? I see a lot of you are loving the heart bundle that was in celebration. I am totally with you. I love that. That likely is one of my favorite. Some of the designer paper is my favorite too, I have to admit. So gray or mushroom? I'm seeing gray. Okay, so we cut this at 1 1/4 by 5. Well, why don't we make it 5 1/2? Let's see what that looks like. Go top to bottom. We can always shorten it if we want to. So if we put this here and this here, wonder what it looks like if it goes over a little bit more. And this goes, what do you think? I think that looks okay. I think it was better the way it was. There we go. So this is bringing the paper all the way back into the inside. So let's glue this down, and then you'll see why I wanted to do the inside first. So we've got this like that. And then this is going to go on here. I'm going to stamp a little mushroom on here, just that little bitty one. I think he would look pretty cute. There we go. And we'll add a pop of color with Melon Mambo. Now, we're not going to stamp the greeting right now, but if you were stamping the greeting on the inside, what color ink would you use to stamp the greeting? That's always a choice that I wrestle with. Would you use the gray or the Melon Mambo for the greeting when the time comes? So there we have it like that. And so this is going to go on the inside. Isn't this turning out cute? It's just nice to have some different layering shapes other than circles and squares. And we have hexagons too. Did you realize that? In the online exclusives, there are hexagons. They're on my wish list. So there we have it like that. And the reason that I did that is I want to make sure when I glue this down that I'm covering this. And you can see that it's no problem. So when I'm going to fasten this to the outside, I am only going to put adhesive on this flap, nowhere else. So let's put that there. Close it up. And now we're going to center this, keeping my finger under there so that it doesn't glue down before I want it to. Now, if you were not using the liquid glue, which is really, really strong, you might want to use a stronger glue, but I think no matter what you use, it would work because our seal is pretty strong too. So look at this. Now when you open it up, it flips. So I think it's called a flip-flap card. I'm not totally sure. If somebody knows the name of this fold, you could let us know. So there we've got it closed. Now we're going to use one more celebration item. I'm just going to use that to hold it down. We are going to use the purple adhesive backed sequins. So these are also free. So if you're like me and you love your embellishments, you might want to check these out as well. Let's see, what should we do here? We will add a couple of these. Oops, I forgot something. I was going to stamp a greeting. Do I dare do that? I was going to stamp hello up there. Let's see. Make sure I don't have a ridge. You'd never want to stamp on a ridge. I'm going to live dangerously. I might regret this. Fingers crossed. This hello comes from the Everyday Arches stamp set. So here's hoping. Oh, it worked. Yay. I was busy with my toadstools and forgot about the words. There we go. So now that I'm going to add some color here, some big and some little, we'll just mix it up. And we'll put one up there and another one here. So that's 4. I want another one somewhere. And we'll just put one. Actually, I want a white one there. And we'll put one right about there. And there you have it. That's how it goes. Now, we could still dress this up, but I've got it pretty busy here. But you could have stamped, in the stamp set, there are some leaves, and you could have stamped and fussy cut them and tucked them in amongst 2 there as well. If you don't like fussy cutting and you want an easier thing to do, you could bring in a die or this punch here, and you can bring in colored paper. This paper is from the toadstool paper, and we could punch some of this out from the green side instead of the toadstool side, and we could tuck some of this in too. So you have all different kinds of options there. So I have to admit, I've had a lot of fun with this style of card. I've been playing with it and had it on my to show you table for a while. So there's this one here. And then in my birthday celebration class, we made this one here. So we used actually designer paper all across the back here. So this was 4 by 5 1/4, and then we could see some of it from the front. So this was the same designer paper. This was one side and this was the other side. So there is that one there. And oh, I see lots of love for this fold. And this is one that I made with the birds. Oh, I forget the name of it all of a sudden. So there it is like that. And this one here, I put a little gift card holder inside. So I used the pocket dies and made a gift card holder, and just went like that. And then, do you remember, a few weeks back, I was showing the cards, where I did all of these kinds of butterflies like this. Do you remember that? Well, they were still sitting on my desk when I was doing something, with the little gift bags. And remember, I showed you that I had done an arch, but I had never finished it off. Like I had the arch part done, but I didn't have anything else done. Well, it was just sitting here. So I did the same fun fold. And this one, I just ran the paper down here too. But I used the designer paper here and not on the actual card itself. So this is still the toadstool paper. So it works beautifully with other stamp sets. It doesn't have to just work with toadstools. So here's my question for you. Which card do you like best? These, press that pause button. I received this card in a swap. I received it from, let me just see, Shelley, O-D-U-T, Oat. And so this is doing it landscape instead of portrait. So it works the same. It just works like that. And really, when you are building these cards, all you have to make sure is that this flap is smaller than your focal point. Once you've done that, it doesn't matter because it doesn't really show much, right? Because you're looking at it this way. So of these 4, so the toadstool, the birthday, the birds, or the butterfly, which is your favorite, or can you decide? So leave a comment, let me know. I see some of them are loving all of them. That it's just super fun. So I just say, go ahead, find a focal point you want. You can see that any of these, like this, just this arch was sitting on my desk. And so that was made. So then put it on the fold and you've got a whole new look. So it is very, very, very fun to do. So if you do make it, I hope that you share pictures of it. I would love to see it. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Stay warm wherever you are. Some friends of ours, their furnace went out Saturday night. And so last night, even with space heaters, their house got down to 9 degrees. So hopefully your furnaces stay working and you're warm and cozy and able to craft. Take care, everybody, and bye-bye.